Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here. Hello, everyone. Hi there. This is Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and I'm with Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, and you're tuning into Business Bite-Sized Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business. Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, this podcast is for you. Hello, Kylie. How's your Monday gone?
Great, Jenny. How about you?
It's been really good. We had a little kind of hiccup in my diary, which meant I had 5 hours blocked out that I didn't need to block out. So I was so productive. All those things that I've been having on my schedule that I needed to do, I actually went and did this morning. So I feel incredibly productive this afternoon.
Good on you. That's fantastic. I've had many of those days this year, not where something's been rescheduled, but just a couple of massive days of admin stuff, and it's been awesome. I love those super productive days.
Oh, it was so good. And I think it's one of those things we had, we're doing these beautiful workshops for Queensland government to build confidence in small business around business planning and such. And this was one of the original dates. And the other dates got moved and we just forgot to take this block out of my diary. But it's so wonderful. I often block days out. And to be honest, I probably would have blocked the day out anyway to prep for the workshop or do other things. And it actually ended up giving me, because I've already done the content. We did that last week. So I don't now have to worry about content, which is ready for a month in advance. The workbook's done.
Well done.
And I'm now feeling like this was meant to be because we're so streamlined. It's great.
Well done. It's so good. And particularly so in tune with our topic today, Jenny.
I know. Funny that though. I mean, today we talked about last week, we're talking about digital declutter, and I love those tips you shared with everyone last week. If you didn't see that episode, make sure you go back and get that PDF that Kylie has about the digital declutter. But we were talking about streamlining your business and how they go hand in hand. And when you're looking at how to operate, you have to keep looking into your business to see, are we doing things the best way for us, for our clients? And are they still profitable? Are they still, on point and aligned with our goals? Or do we need to change them?
Absolutely. And my goodness, I have done it probably too often. I'm always making changes. I'm looking at, probably because I've got my CEO day. So it gives me the opportunity to look at, is it working? Am I still loving it? Could I do it better? So probably I make too many changes, but really I like change. Change is as good as a holiday. So one of my recent changes, for example, is with my Shine Online Hub, which is the low-cost monthly membership. I just went, you know what? We need to not just learn things. We need to do the things. So I've now just added a 2-hour session each month called the Content Hub, where it's all part of your Shine membership, but you jump in there and we actually create the content together. So by rights, they should have a good few weeks worth of stuff there ready to go and schedule.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And so you and I love that process of when we run workshops or coaching, that we love people to have time to do them. So that's why we always love a good workbook, whether digitally or printed. I'm moving to the digital kind of model as you're doing, as you have done for many years. But I love that idea of, don't just go to a workshop and learn, do the work while you're there. It stops that,
Yes.
what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance. Learn lots of things, take my time and never get to it. We've talked about it before. You and I have many courses. I'm pretty sure there's a great one about Instagram photography that you and I signed up for 18 months ago that we still haven't done, because we get so excited and then we don't get time to plan them. So I love that. If you get it, do it straight away. And that's part of that streamlining thing, right?
Yeah, but one of my biggest issues, Jenny, and I have also bought many courses and not done them. And where I bought the course from doesn't give me a good feeling, because I think if you notice in a month or in a week that person hasn't even logged in, I think you need to reach out and say, is there any issue with the login? Can I help you with anything? It's a tiny little customer service thing. And then as opposed to when I was sitting there working with my bookkeeper and she's going, what was this for? And that's still sitting there 2 years later, hasn't been looked at, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know, but they never reached out and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like there's too many courses for sale at the moment. It's just so easy to go, yeah, buy that, buy that, buy that. And then it just feels like there's no follow-up.
And the funny thing about that, and I will say off topic and we'll come back to streamlining our business, but the funny thing about that, we just built a program for a client on the LearnWorld system. And so that's their online training program built native into the system. And what's great about that system is all those automated options you can set up when you build the course. So someone hasn't logged in for a week, you can email a reminder to say, hey, you haven't done it. So it's not even like you need to create the detailed content. Those systems actually, it's native for them to do those reminders. So that just reminds me when people, when they set up these programs, they're not thinking about the customer, they're thinking about the quick buck and let's get that, and they're not thinking about the customer experience. And it's so important no matter what you're selling. And that was your and my both dilemma when we were looking at membership systems. I'm building an online course at the moment, but it's very much about do it yourself. You've got 8 weeks or so. It's as I take you through the process. But again, we're going to build in those prompts for you to say, hey, remember you've got that lesson this week. It's dropped this week. They're simple reminders. And if you're not thinking about your customer when you're building any product or service, then you're kind of already behind the 8 ball in the delivery of that product. And it's going to come back at you with poor reputation and poor reviews.
Beautifully said, poor reputation and poor reviews. So when you are streamlining all the things you're doing, that's number one at the top of your list. If you have any kind of course or anything that you offer, are you making sure that people are leaving with a feel-good something about it? So for example, with Shine, I make sure that I have these touch points with me. They're only half an hour on Zoom, but you can come in. One of them each month is called Ask Me Anything. One of them is Learn Online. It's just a couple of little Canva updates, for example. But they're ways of connecting with them. And I think it's so important because it makes people feel like they're not just a number to have handed over some money and then they're forgotten about.
And I think it's one of the key things you said. Is the very first thing you do is look at what you're delivering and servicing. That's my top one tip if in terms of streamlining your business is look at what you're doing, every aspect of your business. This is under one thing. Yes, every aspect falls under one tip, but it's actually about saying, how do I deliver my product? Is it still working for my customers? Are they still engaged? Are we still seeing sales of that product? If we are, that's great. Can we tweak it to make it better? And if it's not, why isn't it? So it's a straw man diagram of working yes and no's to say, do we still need this? Yes. Why do we still need this? And asking those questions. And if you get to the end of that and say, it's building my client base, it's giving us revenue, it's supporting our customers, and it's supporting my team. If it's one of those 4 things, it's always going to be lots of yeses. But if you get a no along the way, then take a step back and say, well, why do we need it? Why am I spending the money? Or importantly, the time on that program or on that thing if it's not adding value to the business. And that's what streamlining your business is about. Are your operations, and I like those three diagrams three circles when I talk about business. There's the operations, there's your sales and marketing, and there's your financials. So financials, we talk about that, looking at those every week or every month and reviewing, knowing where your financials are. You're the queen of the sales and marketing and the digital marketing, making sure that we're on point, engaging in our customers, and that's a regular review. We often forget about that operation circle. How do you deliver your product? One of the best examples I had was with a client who was delivering a service and they didn't realize that the services were costing them more money than they were actually getting for that product, because they started the product saying, this is what I'm going to charge. It looks really good. And then when we did the numbers, they were losing about $10 per client per month.
Oh,
because
dear.
The amount of time they put into it, because they hadn't factored in their virtual assistants or their administration time or the invoicing and all these other things, because it just sounded like a good number, right? We see so many people with that pricing. Oh, it looks good. I'll charge $49. That will cover my cost. But hang on, what is your cost? So that's the operation. Streamlining your business is about looking at every aspect of your business operations and asking it, is it working for me? Do we still want to do it? If yes, how do we tweak it? And if no, how do we improve it or let it go?
And also I want to add to that, what about the new opportunities? So for example, with Shopify, before, if you wanted to have bundles, you needed to, bundling up your products, you needed to have an app and blah, blah, blah. Now Shopify have got this great bundle app and you can do it all within its own interface. Awesome. So then, that's saving you money, boom, losing that other bundle app. Another one of the finally introduced subscriptions. There's huge amounts of updates for Shopify this quarter.
So good.
But that's a really cool one, is the subscriptions. So it's always worth keeping an eye out and keeping an ear out for what's new and what's changing. I'll give you an example with Keep. We used to create landing pages on our website, but sometimes they didn't fit exactly what we needed. So we'd use other platforms, etc. Now within Keep, now you can do a landing page and it's awesome. But also it means that because it's our CRM, then all the information that we're grabbing is going straight in there. Now, I'm a huge fan of Calendly. I will always recommend Calendly to people, but I've just got rid of my subscription. After 4 years of being a big fan, I'm still a fan, but now Keep, we can do our the same as what we could do in Calendly, but in Keep. And of course, there's no need for extra zap this and zap that, or get one of my team to grab this, etc., because it's all sitting in the CRM. So maybe it's time for you to look at what you're doing and get a CRM, for example. Maybe that's time.
It's such a great example because we see that all the time, and you see that building Shopify and all the different websites that you build is you see a landing page or an order that comes through WordPress or Shopify, and then if the back-end system isn't connected correctly, you get the email and they have to manage that, and then they've got to put that in the order system, and then they have to match it to the inventory because they haven't set it up properly, and it's very clunky, and this $10 product is now costing them $25 to ship and to deliver because of all the clunking around. And that's the bit we forget about streamlining, is we talk about cost and we talk about, what's the resource, but we forget about our time. And so when I'm always saying streamlining, it's not just the cost for you, it's the time and the physical resource of a human being having to do some work. And that human being could probably use their time better to build your next landing page like on Keep, or build your next downloadable, or connect out to your customers and say, hey, how are you going, and write your next blog or email. So looking at how your individuals within your organization, your team are being utilized is so important, because every dollar you spend on their wage should be giving you some form of ROI in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, engagement, morale, culture, all those things. But we don't think about the kind of human element when we think about operations, and it's so critical for success.
Beautifully said. And there's so much panic at the moment going on for people worried they're going to lose their jobs as AI can do more and more, et cetera, et cetera. But what you said was just spot on, which was, if we get those things automated and those processes more streamlined, that actually allows our team to work on other tasks. So it's not that they've not got a job anymore. It's that we've done such a better job of that, we can actually get them involved in other areas, which is where we need the people, and so that's really exciting, I think. So yeah, I think rather than looking at it negatively, we can go, wow, awesome possibilities there.
The second tip I really want to share that also is around when you look at your product and services, and we used the example kind of before the call around when COVID happened and you pivoted from doing face-to-face delivery to a fully online system, which you did out of necessity during that COVID period. But reflecting now, you also recognize it's more productive, it's more efficient, it's more cost-effective for you, and you get to serve way more clients because you're not taking 3 to 4 hours a day traveling. You actually have that time in front of the computer actually working and serving clients. So that review of your products and services is something we need to do really regularly. As a consultant, I do it all the time, looking at what we're doing and how we streamline that. We've been building reconciliation action plans for clients for a couple of years, but we actually just created our first core template and our framework. We've been doing it, we customize it every time for every client. And so we often draw elements, and then we contextualize it for that client. But we actually created a full template. So we've now got templates for all our proposals, which cover all our different frameworks in the one document. So when I'm talking to a client, I can actually take the framework that I know fits best, tweak it if we need to, add the context and the relevant stuff for that client. But it's reducing the amount of time I need to spend writing a proposal, and I get more time to actually talking to the customer about what is it you want and how can I serve you? So from a consulting perspective, we often people use Proposify or Hello Panda or other systems, which are great, but I like to I don't want to fully automate mine because I like the person. I like making sure
Me too.
there's a conversation there. It doesn't look like it's a pro forma email that comes with a template that says, hey, this is the same thing I've sent to everybody, but still pay me the value that I'm giving you. I like to make it personal. It's a key point of my kind of values and the way I do business. But then on the other hand, when we look at the Empire Builders Online program, I know it's designed for customers who want to do it themselves. They don't want that high touch yet. They want to be able to explore on their own and do that process on their own. So we're building that to cater to that people because we recognize that's a customer need that we need to fill. And so I think whatever product and services, whether you're selling consulting, a physical product, think about your customer, think about your process, and still check that it's what your customers are looking for, because otherwise it's that kind of Kodak model, right? Where we convince ourselves that everyone's going to need film cameras till the day we die. And then we go out of business because suddenly our market has shrunk to 2%. And so we need to kind of keep reviewing those things all the time.
Or we've still got a DVD store.
Yeah, exactly. I love a DVD store. There's something like retro. I feel like I shouldn't have thrown my CDs out on my last move because I feel like there's going to be a resurgence of old technology. My partner had his birthday last week, and his son and I bought him a Sega Mega Drive, which because it was one of the first games, or the first game that he bought when he was a young man, and so NBA Jam was the first game he bought. So we went retro and bought him an old school Sega Mega Drive to kind of, a bit of reminiscent. We now need to buy an adapter and some other things to make it work on a modern system. But sometimes retro is okay, but just make sure that it's still serving a purpose and a niche.
Totally. Look what's happened to records.
Exactly. I know. Records are insane. So I think the key thing about streamlining your business is when you're thinking about your business from finance, marketing, and operations, spend an equal amount of time on your operations as you do on your marketing and your sales, whether it's monthly or whether it's quarterly. Even a just quick check-in to say how things have gone this weekend, were there any hiccups, can we streamline it? And if we do it as part of our daily or weekly habit in the business, it means you're going to actually uncover stuff before they become big issues. You'll see the hiccups before they become giant potholes. And that's what we're trying to avoid, right? We don't want you to kind of go, oh my gosh, what just happened? We had a few potholes recently in our business. So I think maybe it's front of mind for us where we go, oh, there's a thing that's falling through the gap over there. How did that happen? How do we fix it? And if we've caught it early enough, so it's great. But we need to also make sure, how do we continue to do that as a weekly habit for your business? And it's creating good, productive habits that serve you and serve the business. It also reduces your stress, right? I don't want to be stressed every day about what did I miss. I don't want to come into work on a Monday and go, holy crap, what just happened? I want to, keep abreast of it.
I couldn't agree more. And so, yes, 100%. Have your systems laid out, clear, you know what you're doing, and then audit them and see, do I need to streamline things here? Awesome, Jenny. Beautiful chat with you, as always.
I love a good chat about systems and processes. You know that clarity is the answer to everything, and that's what this audit does for you guys. So I hope that served you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in to our episode of Bite Size Business Life podcast. Kylie and I love sharing our weekly chats with you. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you don't miss any future episodes, and also go back and check some of our older ones if there's something that resonates with you. Look forward to seeing you next week, Kylie. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.